Now, as we continue to scrutinize the 2026 budget, Nigerians are reacting with outrage after the Public Accountability Organization, Trachea, revealed that the 2026 proposed budget set aside 22.15 billion naira for the construction, renovation, and furnishing of 100 royal palaces across the country.
Nigeria has become a place where you wake up, you hear a different funny story. How many of you have heard the news that Nigerian government is setting aside the wholesome amount of 22.15 billion naira for what? To build traditional palaces. To build about 106 traditional palaces. Omo, this thing can't they do me somehow. As I hear this news, I'll be like, what is really wrong with this country? Be like say our own misplaced priority, they too much. Do we not have a lot of other problems that these funds could be channeled to? Let us look at what someone wrote in the comment section. This person said, unfiltered native, he said, we have hospitals, primary healthcare facilities, public schools, bad roads, etc. that need urgent rehabilitation. But yeah, they want to spend that money on some useless venture because all they know is politics and not governance. This other person said, den of tips, not enough and equipped public schools. Some primary schools have no roofs and others no tables and chairs. Public healthcare is in pitiable state. 99.9% of appointees of federal government are thieves. Present day politicians, except 1% are thieves. It asks the question, how much is being budgeted for our education system that the government feels like our major problem is to build traditional palace? This thing made me to look at how much the government is budgeting for education as a whole. I found out that the government is budgeting about 3.5 trillion naira. That is for the whole of the nation. According to them, they said this budget will cover federal universities, polytechnics, and colleges of education. This budget will cover basic education programs through agencies like UBEC, that is Universal Basic Education Council. And this fund, this 3.2 trillion naira, will also cover education infrastructure, skills development, and other education agencies. Tell me, after this money has been splitted, how much will be remaining for these skills development and other education agencies? If we are to budget about 11% of the whole budget, it will give us about 11.6 trillion, which is way higher than this 3.5 trillion that is being budgeted for our education, which goes to a higher extent to tell you that our country is not yet ready to pay attention to education, which is the major thing, which is the major driving force of every developing society. You are not paying attention to the education sector, or what you want to do is to go building 106 traditional palaces. Earlier this week, a news came out that the government also is funding renovation of churches and mosques. Please, my people, tell me, what business does the government have with renovation of churches? Look at what our traditional leaders came out to tell the Nigerian youths. Well, I don't blame them. Like I said, I am not saying that our traditional leaders should not benefit from the present governance. But I am saying that let us do the right thing. Let us do the right thing. Let us focus on the major things that are gradually bringing us down as a nation. I want you to watch this video carefully. Please like this video, subscribe to this channel, and turn on notifications so that information like this can easily come your way. Watch this video.
Now, as we continue to scrutinize the 2026 budget, Nigerians are reacting with outrage after the Public Accountability Organization, Trachea, revealed that the 2026 proposed budget set aside 22.15 billion naira for the construction, renovation, and furnishing of 100 royal palaces across the country. Among findings which were posted on their X page on Wednesday, 11 palace projects worth over 5 billion naira have no clear identified locations, including 1.54 billion naira earmarked for the modernizing and furnishing of some selected national heritage palaces in communities across Nigeria. The organization found that billions of naira meant for traditional palaces appeared to be routed through unrelated agencies, including the Nigerian Institute for Oceanography, the Cocoa Research Institute in Ibadan, the National National Cereal Institute, and even the National Institute for Cancer and traditional palaces. Cancer Palace. All right, and cereal. You know, we do it periodically.
Audrey, you can see, this was the argument I was making. The reason why people like us argued for subsidy removal then was that we thought government would be transparent enough and plow the money into the needs of the people. But see what they are spending it on, Audrey. If National Cancer Research Institute, that ought to make research funding available for schools for cancer, is the one now building palaces, and they are collecting the money, and these are some that Trachea has been able to review, because there are still many more like that. Urge till today, they've not given us line by line item how they spent 8.8 trillion that it was the World Bank that drew attention to. Till today, most of the line items in the budget that we need to see have not been spent on the people. I talked about even the deputy speaker that had the effrontery to now send these people to write that they wanted to use it for young people when National Orientation Agency has not gotten their money. A penny has not been dropped. When National Orientation Agency, when we advocated for them the last time and they got their money, we saw the impact. You saw all of the things they were doing here, even with us, here in Arise. And please, government, pay anyway on time. Please.
Yes.
So, you see the kind of process that goes on. What I would like to say is, I don't know, because this problem keeps happening every year, I don't know if we can pass a bill to strengthen the powers of the FRC. Federal Revenue Commission, to scrutinize and make the powers be sort of like an OBR in the UK, to scrutinize the budget process. In fact, in my head, I've written that bill, where that agency that will scrutinize the budgets will not be subservient to the president, will not be subservient to the National Assembly. The people on the agents will serve independently.
All right.
And all the budgets must be submitted to them to scrutinize for 45 days before the president now takes seats to the National Assembly to assent. And they should be given statutory power to raise red flags and to even be given prosecutorial powers to sue anybody that pads and put things in the budget.
Yes.
Wait, before you continue, I want you to like this video and subscribe to this channel. This is one way you can encourage me to keep on making informative content that can reach your doorstep. As you watch the video, please do not forget to drop what you think about this video in the comment section. Your feedback helps me make better content. Now, if you've done that, you can continue.
Everything from these lawmakers have been fraud. Tax law, fraud. Budgets, fraud. Everything, fraud. They know. Oji, the question you should ask yourself is, why is that church project went to Bende? Who is from Bende? That's the question you should ask, Oji.
Yeah.
Why is that the mosque project went to Zaria? Who is from Zaria? You think they don't know? You think it's today they've been padding these budgets? Everything, fraud. Rubber stamp assembly, fraud. But Shebi, when we asked one of them yesterday, he started campaigning for President Tinubu. You think they don't know? They said, I don't have details on it. All I just want to say is that President Tinubu has done very well. We know. But look at it, Oji.
Let's talk about our budgeting system. In this next video, Rufai Oseni mentioned something very, very important, which is accountability. How can we install accountability into our systems, into our professional systems?
The budget office is set up this for things like that, Senate committee, but all of them, since they are in bed together and there's no oversight,
yes,
we should be able to have an independent body that doesn't care about them. Because you see, there's something I call executive usurpation. Usurps all those body of accountability. We must have an accountability body for the budget. I think that should be the lasting solution.
Independent. Right before the budget is submitted.
And it should be given prosecutorial powers that if you see anybody part the budget.
But let me just say something. But if I always see that quote, culture will eat strategy for breakfast. As long as you can create 100 agencies. What? Because if we don't deal and repair the institutions that exist, why do we want to create another agency where we have
No, I'm not saying create another agency. But I'm saying, Dr. Fiscal Revenue Commission.
There is.
There is. No. I think there's an FRC, a revenue commission that does the work of overseeing the budget, but it's being subsumed. It's being shut down. I'm saying let's empower that agency. Give it, even its money should come from first line charge. Make it very independent so that it can whistle blow on the budgeting ecosystem. See, Ayo, in 2007, 2008, the British government, it was seen that the British government made a lot of lies and errors in the estimation of their budgeting system. That was what led to part of the things they adduced for the stock market crash. In 2010, that's why they set up the OBR.
All right.
So we must have that accountability watchdog that is empowered. Oji, the question we should ask is, the reporting is not even complete here, because what about the ones they hid that you will never see? Oji, Ministry of Livestock was seen building projects, church projects. Most of the parastatal were seen doing one constituency project or the other. Oji, till date, 8.8 trillion. If not because of our World Bank, we will not know that extra budgetary spending was made. 8.8, they've not given us line by line item today. They will put these things in the budgets. The sad part, Oji, is that they are not even funding it. If they were funding it, we would say that the budget is moving. Yesterday, that's why I was talking about the Taiwo Ideli or something. The video that is there, how Mungunu was threatening Senator Mungunu that you are not been funding us. 2025, not funded. So they put this thing, they line it out, they take it out of our budget. This is the discrepancy that has been going on. There are many they have hidden there that you don't know. That's why I say the budget, fraud. Anything that goes through them, fraud. What's it called? The tax law today, we don't even know the one to believe. Till today, the Senate said we will look into the matter and investigation about the one they released and the one. Has the Senate giving you a report today? Has the House giving you a report today? So people representing the people. Oji, next year we'll talk about this issue again. You remember when we were talking about budget padding? Since the time of Jubrin, we were talking about budget padding. How many years is that? That's close to 5-10 years. And they will padding it. They will pad it. They will pad it again next year. They are already padding the one for next year. Oji, you didn't even talk about the World Cup. World Cup. They had World Cup that we didn't go into the budget.
When did the government's core responsibility turn into building churches and renovating mosques? When we have primary healthcare systems that are almost finished, that are almost gone, that you cannot even be confident enough to take your children to the school or to our primary healthcare system.
Yes, I agree with that accountability watchdog. I mean, here we are seeing,
because we talk about this
money being allocated to mosques, churches. Now, palaces, 22.15 billion.
Over 908 ghost workers were discovered. Over 908 ghost workers. And salaries have been paid for these people. This is corruption hitting us very, very deep. destroying us, and we are saying Nigeria doesn't have money. Day after day, we go after borrowing and borrowing and borrowing, of which we don't know when we are going to settle these debts and pay the interest that will be accrued upon them. But yet, we see our institutions being crippled down by negligence, ignorance, and corruption. Our problem is not lack of finance. We have money. Our problem is lack of management and leadership.
Well, this is coming just days after Trachea also revealed that 8.05 billion naira was allocated for the construction, renovation, and equipping of churches and mosques, with several projects embedded in ministries unrelated to religious affairs. Meanwhile, this is as ICPC said it uncovered 908 ghost workers across at least 50 federal ministries, recovering nearly 1 billion naira in fraudulently paid salaries, with one particularly brazen suspect allegedly enrolling his wife, son, and mother-in-law as government workers while collecting the salaries of 12 other fictitious employees.
Lack of management and leadership. If our leaders cannot take up the responsibility of being accountable, first of all, being honest in their accountability, and going after all these corrupt practices, believe you me, we are not yet ready for a change. It's only when we make ourselves available for scrutiny, that is the only time that things will turn out right. We must have an accountability watchdog, an independent body that will solely be responsible in reviewing all these funny, all these unimaginable things that normally pop up in our budgeting systems. Does the government, I am not saying that our traditional leaders should not benefit from the government, but I'm saying that the level of our misplaced priorities is very, very alarming. It is very, very alarming that we do not know the things that are most important, the things that we should pay attention to. All these things come up as a result of politics. People trying to do things that will bring them, instead of working for the people, you are trying to grease hands that will in turn bring you back to power. Is this how democracy will flourish? Is this how a society or a nation grows stronger? A nation can only be strong when we have strong institutions. Institutions that will be sincere in their dealings with the people, that will be accountable to the people. I might be wrong in my perspective. Like I said, I am open for correction. I stand to be corrected. But to me, I don't feel like this government is doing enough when it comes to doing the things that the people actually want. The people are not asking for much. Give them good education, give them health, give them good primary care system, give them good security. Invest heavily in agriculture, which will in turn necessitate industrialization. But all of these, none of them are being paid attention to. Then every day what we hear is churches are being allocated money. Funny enough, these funds that are being allocated to are even routed through the wrong means. Being routed through the wrong means. Tell me what oceanography has to do with palaces. Tell me, if not that our systems have so much been corrupted and broken down. Please like this video, subscribe to this channel, and turn on your notifications so that videos like this can easily get to your doorstep. Until the next one, I will see you in the next one.